All right. Hello, everyone. And surprise, we have Erica back looking bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, right? For our special update that we've been all waiting for. Again, welcome back to Growing Up Alien. And we are in a kind of a cloudy, wet spell here, very British in Massachusetts, but you are nice and warm out your way. And
We are nice and warm here in California.
nice and warm. Yeah. So I don't know where we want to start. Did you I can leave it up to you, or I could begin,
You can ask questions
or
because
begin
I'm not.
interrogation procedures or whichever. Well, the first thing is it's fresh in our mind is what's been happening in the Saturn and Moon relay and the crystal technology.
Okay. So yeah, that was by the way, thank you for having me back on.
Well, no, we've been waiting for you to.
I wasn't I didn't think I would be alive, but I'm really grateful to be alive. Oh, you know what I didn't tell you? Um, my doctors can't figure out who ordered and approved the oxygen therapy chamber.
Oh,
Nobody ordered it.
oh wow.
They're looking at each other like, I didn't do this. So I'm like, I know who did it.
You know who did it? Yeah,
Yeah.
that natural stuff is usually the way to go.
Yeah. And there's no way I would have been approved. Like my insurance would not have even thought of that.
Wow.
And so yesterday I'm at my checkup and my doctor says, so who prescribed the TPN because I gained weight back, and he's all, who did the TPN and the oxygen chair therapy chamber? And I said, you did. And he goes, no, I didn't. And I said, then who did? So that's amazing because I shouldn't have had that. And they're both natural therapies, except for the fear of being locked in the tube.
Mm, right.
But it's amazing. So I definitely had help.
Wow. That's crazy.
Um,
Yeah.
as far as so a few weeks ago, I had showed you um, part of what I do to help people get out of the mind control.
Yes.
You know, we're all experiencing that. You had experienced the what's the word that you use where you can't feel love or
Oh,
goodness or
and it's the anhedonia. Yeah.
yeah. So years ago, like 4 years ago, 2020, we still had the Nebu relay up on the moon that controlled us.
Mhm.
And I believe the Anunnaki had one on Saturn, the black box on Saturn that controlled us.
Okay.
And I hadn't heard anything about that except I had, since we last talked, I had been on complete, he makes it so that I can go up there and interact and do things, but I won't remember it here because I will jump on YouTube with you and just blah. And so since I got in trouble, I'm going to try to be very careful this time. Um, so they have been keeping me just keeping sealed, not telling me a thing, except I've been able to see what they're doing and where they're at. So I had to kind of figure it out by myself. Um, it was two weeks ago, I think. I kept seeing them working in the rings of Saturn.
Mhm.
I'm listening and looking out for any kind of like, okay, I have my green light. Okay.
Yeah, and the green line.
Yeah, I know. I'm always checking because I don't want to die again. So I tucked that piece of information aside. I messaged you and I'm like, okay, they're in Saturn. Do you know anything that's going on in Saturn? Have you heard? And you said no.
No.
So last night he wakes me up at 3 a.m. and I haven't talked to him for weeks. And he shows me the moon base. And the first reaction I have is my stomach I want to throw up because I was there as a child working for nefarious reasons. But
Right.
he calmed me down and he's like, look. And I'm trying to describe something that doesn't exist on Earth here. It's like a giant machine that's part of the moon. I think it is our moon, but it's like the Death Star.
Mhm.
It's got this one area on it that has all these antennas and anyways, it's what the Naboo used to control us, the Greys. The Anunnaki gave Saturn back to us, and I think Chris O'Connor works on that station, and I
Oh,
think JP has been there too.
yes, JP has been there, yeah.
Yeah. And then, so last night, Clark asks me, what do the moon and Saturn have to do with humanity? And I'm thinking and thinking, and I'm like, oh my gosh, because I had had the idea about a month ago. What if we reverse engineered the black box station on Saturn and the relay station on the moon and broke us out of the spell that they put us in? Because, we've been asking to have this tech that's being used, especially against the envoys,
Yeah,
taken down. And
yeah.
I have been racking my brain talking to them, trying to figure out how to get this done on a major, a big scale. But yeah, 3 a.m. this morning, he's showing me like, I always have to figure things out. Nothing is ever told. It's like a giant riddle. It's like Sesame Street. I feel like a Sesame Street.
Oh,
But then I'm like, oh my God, you did it. You did it. I said, this is exactly what we wanted. I said, if you could reverse those relay stations with the crystal technology from the arcs,
yep.
we can undo all of this stuff because all of us are so, I work with clients and I have that app where I can see the aura and I can see the technology, not through the app, but I can see
Yeah.
and so I don't know if it's been activated yet. I know that he said how he winks at me and he goes, "How have you felt for the last 3 nights?" And I started thinking about it.
Mm.
I get a DEW attack every night. Every night. It's constantly,
Oh,
it's
yeah.
a ringing, I just can't rest or have peace, and I haven't had that for 3 nights. I
Wow.
don't know if he's just testing it on me, like I'm a guinea pig,
Right, right.
but I can feel a difference. So I don't know. I think I would know if they had completely activated it, but I just found out about that this morning, so I don't think it has been done on everybody yet. But that's exciting. That's really exciting because that can nullify our implants, our everything that messed us up over the years just instantly, and we can get that fixed.
Wow. Yeah, it's just so surprising to me, like why they waited so long.
Okay, so I asked that.
Yeah, like
Everything that you, yeah.
I know it's like, why would you just suddenly, it's
Okay, so new crew, new ideas, new crew.
it's kind of makes
Um,
me wonder though, it's like, what was the agenda of the old crew to keep everybody? Because this is a question people ask all the time. Why aren't we getting our memories back? Why aren't we getting our DNA turned on? Why aren't we getting blah blah blah? What because I think there's a nefarious possibility behind something like that because they want to keep people subjugated. I mean, I don't know. Do they? I mean,
and
why?
I believe that there were agencies that were in control of these things before because he just got this position. Oh, let's see. I I don't know time because time's different up there, but he just got this position but he's been working on that. Sorry, my dogs.
And the dogs, yeah.
Yeah.
And then a lot of people are asking that question. If they're so nice and they're trying to help us and blah blah, why aren't they actually helping us? That's and
He made a comment like that he's gonna get shit done. And remember the comment he made about some
Well,
some
exactly.
rules?
exactly, but it kind of raised some questions about the previous crew. What was their intentions, so
Yeah, and or maybe they hadn't thought of it. I don't know.
okay, I mean, it's just what would be what you had to think of, that's there had to be some benefit to maintaining the status quo because that's what they were doing.
Well, I would think that any organization that likes rules and needs secrets would want to use that technology.
Mhm. Absolutely.
And I think every agency, including the good ones, has to have secrets.
Mm.
Um, Sorry, there's a lot of noise back there.
I got my own cookie. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So that's well, that's yeah. Well, I think a lot of people were getting suspicious and also dejected because of all of the can kicking and all of the excuses and all of the
I agree. I agree. And that's where that comment that I made at like inappropriately probably why I got yelled at, but this isn't something to negotiate and discuss in council meetings for the next 500 years.
oh
It's
yeah.
it's the 12th hour.
Well, not, I mean, not as, I mean, if you don't have compassion, then you wouldn't have a problem with that.
That's true. That's
Because,
true.
that's really what it is. I'm not going to, I have a view, and, again, this is my personal view, that is, I think there's a lot of individuals that, due to their, and like, that's why I never talk to anybody over 4D generally, because I don't think they're in touch with reality, to be honest with you. I think a lot, and
Not ours, no.
this
Not
is
ours, no.
not saying it's anybody else, but my personal opinion is, I don't think a lot of them are well, to be honest. I think they're a little bit of peep, you know what I'm saying? Because it's like after a while, you must go bananas because you're living in an unrealistic realm
When
where,
I when I got to see humans like that one council, I don't know, they were probably 7 or 8 deep. It was very far removed from what we actually experienced. They were not in touch with what
yeah, I mean,
we're
it would be
going
like
through.
asking an average person walking down the street to discuss situations happening in a few ant colonies in their driveway.
Great.
But that's their so the point of the matter is you should be able to understand the ant colonies as fellow beings. So if you're in a
I
position
agree.
where you have fallen victim to your own philosophies, that's all it is. These beings create philosophies and they consider them etched in stone, but they're not. They're just made up philosophies, no different from the Matrix. It's in the movie.
No, it's no different. It's what they observe and it's not it's not law. It's that being's perception.
Right, exactly. And this is what I always say. You can't have anyone. I know anarchy is not always an answer, although I like it. You can't have anyone telling you what to do that you aren't 100% sure of, but you need checks and balances that are constantly there to make sure people just aren't, or beings or whatever, aren't just creating philosophies. And
And then the whole world is running off by those philosophies.
and,
Yeah.
and that's what you're seeing. That's why I tell people upstairs is a shit show. These people are, half of them are bananas, really. I think it's at some point they just lose it. They're just completely,
Or
you're
you don't
2,000 years old and you live in a woo city, wooville bubble of nutsy squirrels. I mean, you're not in touch with reality.
right.
And then you end up with a lack of compassion, ultimately. It's the same bullshit you see on Earth where people like, oh, we don't involve ourselves with wildlife. I'm sorry, if there's a wildlife, a being that is in need and I can help that being, I'm going to help it.
Yeah.
I'm going to intervene. And Bill, you shouldn't like, no, that's compassion. When something is suffering, you have compassion and intervene.
Right. And that's what this planet needs and requires.
I mean, it is. I know it's a nut show upstairs. There's planets that are in worse conditions. It's just, it's really shocking existence. So I don't, and I don't subscribe to that. You got to have bad and good. I think you always will have a level of it. But when
I think
you've
that's
been,
only on this planet though. There's not duality in a lot of other places like there is here.
yeah,
We have such
we have it on Era.
at the to this extreme.
Well, you don't have people literally living hand to mouth.
Yeah, that's true.
Create that when you create an unsustainable competition based, it's almost like a cage fight. They created a world that looks like a cage fight, and they're watching people kill each other basically by
Yeah,
these and all these things about
like
lack.
those movies they did in the 70s where all the Greek gods are watching.
Yeah, and that's what
What?
you got. That's what you got on this planet. I got mines. It's all about philosophy. It's all about fear. I mean, we have a layer. You have layers of perverted philosophy, where you make existence nearly impossible for the majority of people, and
Yeah,
you
I think that's what they do here.
and it's that might be the difference, but I know of, and I've worked with clients, husbands that have been in several actually. There's that have come from Era that have had family issues or what have you, and they chose different lifestyles. But there's it's unsustainable for that kind of thing to exist, and it needs to be stamped out wherever it is. And I understand it takes time to go piece by piece, but you can't create or live off of this manufactured concept, which many of the higher dimension people do.
Yes, it's a manufactured concept.
And it's difficult. You can't tell. It's just like the rich on this planet. The rich people telling people who are in a struggling situation, the poor,
Yeah.
what they need to do with their money. That it's nonsense. I mean, the people who know what their problem is, the poor, know how to solve their problem. They know what they need to solve their problem. This going on since the 18th century, where you have these. This is why I don't like anyone who creates philosophies. You always have this strata of philosophers that find themselves united with political agencies or moneyed agencies, and they then spout out morality to the general public. And again, that's on purpose. Goes back to theory of moral sentiments, that text. So we've seen this for a while, and it's happening upstairs as well. So people need to step forward, certainly here and as well as upstairs, and to dismantle individuals or take away the power, certainly have a check and balances.
And that's what we're doing. And that's
Yeah,
what this group of, I would call them, even though they all have high positions that they're not going to lose, they're rebels.
they have to be.
And I think that they planned this before they got their positions because they're getting stuff done that
Yeah.
needed to be done so long ago. And
And I
I'm
think
happy to be a part of that.
you've highlighted the problem, high positions. You can't have people in high positions because then you are now
Oh, I meant like
fashioning.
physically.
Well, I mean, if the high positions are ones in which people would then want to attain things. Do you see what I mean?
Oh,
So
yeah,
when you
that's
create in your society a hegemony of structures where this is a competition structure, basically. And once you do that, you're starting to head down a slippery slope. So I don't
that
believe
reminds
in
me.
I don't believe in, I mean, you respect everyone. You don't have false respect for people just because they have a position. So that's why I don't have any,
That makes sense.
because you can see where there's going to be problems with that kind of thing. This idea of respect, it's like in a military, it just by its very nature, you're going to have a concept in your mind that there are those who are worth less than others. It's just by its very nature. So that's why I don't work up. I refuse, any kind of conversation with anybody upstairs, really, because I don't agree with that. And that's me standing in my sovereignty. Well, I choose not to play your game.
Right.
And it's not arrogant. To be honest, it's not arrogant. They're arrogant. If you're forcing me to follow a philosophy that in its very nature has to do with one being ruling over another, that's I refuse
It
that.
doesn't work. It doesn't work.
Well, it works for the. I mean, you're gonna have to find a way to maintain your power in that kind of situation because there's always gonna be people trying to take you down. And this happens in any animal society where there is a hierarchy. You see that all the time.
That reminds me of before I wrote my book and before I even ever spoke or even made a comment on a YouTube or on a social media, I was watching all these videos. I was watching Alex Collier, Elena, Rebecca's videos, Jean-Charles Moyen, I can't think of all the other names, but I was so fascinated. And then I got my memories and I'm like, oh, I have puzzle pieces for this person and that person and this person, and we can all come together and we can get this done quick. I don't know, like I had this in my mind that everybody wanted to work together, and so I started reaching out to people, like, hey, I have this puzzle piece that would help you. No, it was all about competition or what angle, or I'm like, oh my God, this is all we need to do is unite and bring all our puzzle pieces together that we have, and we could be done with all the suffering. But no,
Well, then what's in it for me?
yeah, what's in it for me, or what, or my information threatened your, oh my God, it broke my heart. It really broke my heart.
That's
And
just
I,
what happens when you create a. Well, it's that ego.
or hearing that, like when I was awakening and I was having contact upstairs, I would watch and hear, no, you can't be having contact because I'm the only one. And I would doubt myself, and that stuff's gotta go. We don't have room for that anymore.
They got it upstairs. They got it. That's why I don't. Well, Ika and I, both of us don't subscribe. That's why we live by. We don't expect. So it looks like a lot of people want to live that way, and that's okay. I choose not to. So we live in the rural area.
Yeah,
So we're not telling them how to live their life. If they like to live like that, where they got to fight for survival all the time or fight for their status, but again, that's their choice. I choose not to do that. I don't, I've removed myself from humanity a long time ago. In fact, I made a declaration on my Facebook page like 5 or 6 years ago where I'm like, no, I've removed I no longer exist in any society. I don't exist in any society anywhere on any planet. Because I just don't, I don't want to be a part of that kind of thing. I'm not sure you
no,
want to be physical, to be honest with you. At this, I think there's a time where maybe you decide that this whole game, really, which is what it is, of physicality no longer resonates. Um,
it is. It's a game.
but philosophy aside and personal agendas, I guess I don't know if Edna is around to if he wants to answer some questions or some of the things that you brought up for our viewers. But what do we do? Ultimately, I think everyone here is aligned in the same pages. Let's get this show on the road. Let's clean the fuck up, and let's get stuff for the people.
Yeah.
That's what I came here for.
Yes, me too.
And I'm sick and tired of twiddling thumbs and fooling around with, deep state technology and social media and all that stuff. I want to get out of here. And I think that's maybe what makes our channel maybe different from other channels, which is what, maybe we lean towards people who want to hear this kind of stuff, who are sick and tired of stories and all that. We want to know what the hell,
Yeah.
and it's of no benefit to me to make up stories or kick the can down the road or any of those things because I want to get the hell out of here. So I don't want a big channel. I don't want to go to conference. I refuse. I would never go to any conferences. I don't
Oh
want any.
no, those are shit shows in
I have no
themselves.
interest of that. So
Those are lower dimensional buffets.
and everybody I talk to, we just want to get the hell out of here. So what is being rolled out for us to, at the very least, live a reasonably doable existence here, but ultimately, I guess that's what first question I have. If anyone wants to answer this, Can you mention that the ships that might be assisting us? The
So
okay.
about 2 years ago, I think you saw them too,
Mhm.
or was it Ika through Ika? But I was there too. There's a huge, huge base on the moon.
Yeah,
Huge. It's like the biggest garage ever full of fun toys. Um,
good place for
they have
them.
these scout ships that have med beds, healing chambers, not med beds. They're called healing crystal healing chambers. Um, those were supposed to be rolled out 2 years ago.
Oh yeah, Ika showed me that. Yeah.
Yeah. Your picture on your YouTube of the ship with the two snowy mountains,
Mhm.
that looks like one of the bases in the Himalayas. I know exactly what I've seen that before. But we also have, I'm trying to say the right words. We have a lot of craft. And I'm not talking about scout ships. I'm talking about the big, giant Federation ships that have changed there's rooms that you beam up into. You go up in your light body, but they've reconfigured those chambers. So I just visited this about 4 nights ago. It was so big. These things could drop into a 15-minute city and treat everybody within 2 days.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, it's, I'm going to try to describe it. The room was like the Enterprise. If you look on Star Trek, there's a big round room, and it's all windows, and there's seats. There's it's like a giant, giant doctor's office. I don't know how to describe it. And the chambers that you can beam into, there's a lot of them along in the middle. Like they would look like elevators, but you just walk through them and it overlays your divine blueprint and you can get a healing that way. These are not for like if you need to regrow an arm or a leg kind of thing. These are
Yeah.
just for like small upgrades, but they can hold hundreds of people and people just wait in line and just walk through this set of chambers and that's it. So that's amazing. I don't know when that's going to come, but I know that our guys are working tirelessly. I don't even know if
Well,
they
and
sleep.
that's,
I barely see my guy.
yeah, I mean, and it isn't, there's plenty of like Symbiosi and Ika and everything, they don't have say about it. But I think we all come up with the same thing, which is there is obviously a group, a very powerful group of something that doesn't want us to have this stuff. There is some very strong, I don't know who it is or who they're friends with or whatever, but it's pretty obvious at this point that the desire to heal this planet, the water, the food, the beings on it, is not of interest to someone.
It almost feels like I can't know who that is yet. Like I can't figure it out, but it doesn't feel like the regular deep state anymore. It feels like something
Oh, right, right. Yeah, I know.
completely different that's doing that now.
Yeah.
And I can't even, when it was the deep state, I could psychically feel into that energy signature of the deep state. I don't know what the fuck I'm tapping into now. Like, is this an AI doing this? It could be something copying the deep state, but I don't even sense anything human or ET behind it. I don't sense any, I can't even describe it. Is anyone else like sense that?
That'd be a good thing to share with people. I have this feeling that there's something that's like they don't want, I feel like it's human. I, I feel like it's something. or is mimicking that. Again, I can't.
Mimicking.
That is
Good.
like, oh well, do we really want to do that? It's almost like they're a liar and they're nefarious, but in a quiet way where it
Very
seems,
quiet.
yeah. But it's sort of like they keep putting stuff in they're putting doubts or thoughts out where don't rush it. Like, oh, don't rush what you have planned here. Like, let's just it's more the kick the can stuff.
Yeah.
Just let it go a little more, let it go a little more. And I feel like decades are gonna pass. Oh, just gonna let it go, we're gonna let it go,
Yeah.
let it go. That
And
kind of
I'm picking up on those words. Just
it's
wait.
old
Just wait.
Italian, this old Italian saying is the spring that never comes.
Yeah.
Like the people who say they're always going to build a new garage. I mean, next year we're going to build a new garage. Next year we're
Yeah,
going to
it
build
never.
next year, and they're dead. They never built a new garage. I feel like it's that kind of thing. I feel like the desire to heal and fix this planet, to stop the suffering on this planet, to raise the living standards of the beings on this planet is not a good idea. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's not a good idea to give these guys, let's just let them do their, it's like, I don't feel like there's any desire to fix this planet.
Yeah, I can sense that.
Like, if it just disappeared, it would be fine, you know?
It almost feels like a mimic to
Yeah.
I know that there is a mimic behind everything because whatever we create, there is a force that creates a mimic or an inverted version of that thing. So I think that that's what we're experiencing because I've been asking about it. I also feel like it's going to be, it's going to not last very long.
Hmm.
And I know we've heard that for how many years now? It'll be soon, it'll be soon, but
It's actually one of the questions.
this
Like,
mimic thing,
what do they mean by soon? Weeks, months?
yeah, I know.
They don't give you an answer as to what they mean by soon.
No, no, I mean, I was talking about what we used to hear where everybody would say, "Oh, this is going to happen soon," or "This is going to happen soon."
They're all part of the CIA stuff. So,
Yeah, yeah,
I mean, yeah, but I'm more concerned. I'm more curious about what they mean by that. Like, what's the game plan in the power structure upstairs? I'm not interested in Earth people. They're all that's not of any benefit. Well, it's of no, not that there's anything, but there's of no benefit to us. All these
right.
not interested. Um, what upstairs is the definition of soon?
Definition of what?
Soon, like what is their definition of soon? I mean, weeks, months, years.
He says when I say soon, it's different than what other people say. He said he's talking about within the year. If he tells me soon, it's going to be within the year.
Right. That's my,
But
yeah.
everything that so 50, I'm going to be 53.
Mhm.
Everything that he has ever told me in my life has come to pass within the time frame. I mean, I know I'm the only one that can see that, but he's has a track record of always pulling through, even if he doesn't tell me. And I'm just because of my condition, I was promised a lot of things, and somehow it came to pass. So what I don't know, we don't have another choice but to.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's unfortunate, but
Yeah, I know. But
that's
we will start noticing things, and we should start noticing, like the envoys should start noticing a lessening of those disconnected feelings and also getting zapped.
oh yeah.
I almost think that that was almost like a mimic to the last round of
Yeah,
DEW.
yeah, those are brutal. Yeah. Yeah, uh, like I say, this is becoming challenging for a lot of people, because it's not what they came here to do. It's just,
No,
work,
I feel like
working. Not that any job is meaningless, but for each person, they have a sort of desire that's not being fulfilled. That's being not that they have a desire that's not being fulfilled because of impediments that are outside of themselves.
right,
For an example, say there's somebody who works in a garage somewhere and they want to get a job on Venus, They can't leave. I think it's the jail. Like, why can't we leave the planet? Somebody wants to try, say you live on Venus. You can leave. You can go around, do things. Not that your life is magic or perfect or anything. It isn't.
right. No, it's
It's
just a
like the
different.
fact is that, well, you can't leave here. Why not?
Well, yeah, we should be able to. We've got this is going to be popping up too
Yeah.
soon. I wish I could give a time, but we've got interdimensional doorways everywhere.
Oh yeah, of course. Of course.
Everywhere.
It's all ready to, we got the stuff you want here, but who's stopping us? I mean, that my suspicion is, it's upstairs is stopping us, right? Because who else would be?
No,
Elon
I
Musk.
want to look
I don't
into
think
that.
Elon, I mean, who is stopping us right now? I mean, that's the thing. We can turn it.
I feel like those rules that were made that were just philosophies are what's put a lot of this on pause.
Yeah, it's like,
Because that was set up to cover. I don't care. This is a new time. We are stepping into our sovereignty saying, okay, we're ready. It's enough. It's time. We're saying this now.
yeah, yeah. I think people on this planet just tired of being treated like kids. You're like you're being
I
punished.
know. I know.
It's
That's
not.
how I feel like I'm treated.
It's just. I
Because
think.
why can't I know? Why can't I know? Like, why can't you show me what you're working on? Why can't you tell me everything?
Well, I can understand when they couldn't do that because it would put you in danger.
Yeah, I know.
But now, I mean, that's the question. Okay, oh, we took away 98% of the deep state, but we still can't tell you anything because it puts you in danger. Well, if you took away all of the danger, then what am I in danger from?
Yeah, it does. It feels like something. Who was talking about that there's a mimic? I can't remember who else talked about it. Somebody was talking with either Alex or Michael Sala. I can't think of it,
Yeah, I
but
mean,
I just
it's
feel
just
like,
like they're running out of lies, basically. You know,
but it's like
like,
the same thing that I was talking about in those councils. Now, this has to be done now. Who's makes us wait? Look at like, um, because this is coming from us, because we are aware of that there's space, because we are aware that there's ETs, we don't follow those rules or those guidelines anymore. We've broken out, we've broken free, we are sovereign, and we are saying, okay, this is what we want. So it has to happen.
yeah,
It
it's.
has to. It
But the
has
other
to.
people, the other people are you have to give them the wisdom. You have to give them the information. People aren't going to change. That's why another question I always had: why are we leaving the media up? How are you
Oh,
going to
no.
tell people how to be and think if they're not getting the information? If you're allowing the gatekeepers who are preventing the real information from reaching the population, why are you allowing the psyops and the propaganda to persist? It's basically a gaslighting. You're taking a being, say, a regular Terran on the street. You're calling them backwards. You're calling them inferior. They don't seem to understand it because only information they're getting are the lies. How are they supposed to?
Know anything, right? That was my point. There's no chance.
No. And
There's no clue. These people have no clue. And they're so under this. And I mean,
being done to a system
maybe the moon
other
relay
than
and the
insulting.
Saturn relay can help that too. I didn't even think of that. because that's a spell.
But why aren't they taking down the media?
I don't know.
Simple. The first thing you do in a war is you gain control of the psyop. That's what
Unless that's something being done with,
psyop and psyop. That's what you need to do. So you need to get control of that. You don't allow the enemy to continue with the propaganda, and then wonder why the propaganda is still there. It's just moronic as far as it's like it's like you have a hole in the bottom of your boat. The water's coming in.
right?
Why the water's coming in, and you have to keep spinning it out. And then somebody says, "Well, there's a hole still in the bottom of the boat." Oh, that's all right. It's like, well, that's where the water's coming up. Oh, that's okay. It's like, but that's where the
Yeah.
water's.
Hello, that's where the water's coming in.
You stop the leak, the water will stop coming up, and you won't have to keep worrying about the water in your boat. To me, this is what the whole situation is. It's just
Yeah, but there's an elder that decided long time ago that it doesn't matter if there's a hole in the boat.
it's more. I don't have any patience for that. I really.
Right.
That's just I mean it's. But yeah, that's where I am with a lot of what's, and I'm tired of all the the philosophies.
Oh yeah.
I like I'm all for enjoy playing around with philosophies. It's a board game, really. Everybody can create their own philosophy. So it's yeah, you know I guess one of the questions, how can people trust, what can people trust? What's considered proof? What's considered, I think people at this point are so, well, it's the boy that cried wolf, really. And
And I feel like that's all we've had
correct.
is
And that's why people are like, I'm not buying this shit, and
yeah.
it's they're not well, what I like, what I'm hearing and what I like is people walking away from a lot of the nonsense, you know, and well, and that's one of the things that's been kind of irking me recently is like, oh, let's see how people live on Neptune. Let's see how people live on Venus. I was like, I don't give a fuck about all this.
Who fucking
We got
cares? Right?
down here.
Right. That's what always would get me. I would listen to Family of Tegeta on, this is before I had my own contact, but I don't care. I don't care that this race eats this and lives in the ocean. I'm suffering. I don't care. I don't want to read a book on it. I want to read a book on how to get the
Yeah,
fuck
they're
out of
happy.
here.
They're fine. People on Venus don't have a problem. We got a problem here. Let's talk
Yeah.
about what's going on here.
Yeah. But this is what's awesome about your channel too, is we've got people, and this is what, okay, so you asked me a question, us a question. How
Yeah.
can we trust this? How many of us that email you are part of the same, we are all getting the same information and we're not connected and we're telling it to you,
Yes, I get that.
right?
What if the information is a lie?
Hmm?
What if the information is a bunch of lies? I mean, so far everything they've said has never happened, hasn't happened. So everybody is getting this, and that's how I do this. I get a bunch of different people, and you guys give me information, and I have information, and it's all separate.
Yeah, yeah.
And I understand, and I get the fact that you guys are just mouthpieces, just like me. I'm just the Pony Express. I'm just handing a letter over. And that's what bothers me, because it's like I never want to. I'm like, I honestly don't believe them anymore. I just don't.
Yeah, it's hard for me too.
It's
I'm
like
struggling with
to me,
not being.
is it collective lying? I mean,
That's what I wonder. Is this like a collective uh something that we're imagining? But I am noticing things like I haven't gotten zapped for 3 nights. I don't have the ringing. Like I'm feeling things are changing. It's not as fast as I would like it to be. I want it to be done like that. But I am noticing a difference. Some people are,
I haven't been hit in weeks.
you haven't been hit in weeks?
And I lived with depression for 40 years, maybe 30 something years.
Oh, wow.
So I haven't had it, and like I can actually, And that's a whole different story about like psychologists all bullshit. I mean, I can't stand it.
They are though.
No, they'll take the channel. Forget, you know what I'm saying?
But
This is the other thing. Why can't we
I
say what the fuck we want on our own fucking channel
right.
without having somebody tell us what that's free speech? That is a free speech.
Yeah,
But
we don't have that right now.
yeah, yeah, I just want to be talked to like I'm not a 5-year-old. You know what I
Me
mean?
too, me too. And I understand that.
Have that sensation of not with my husband. I don't mean that. He doesn't do that. I mean,
Right, right.
he's being talked to like a 5-year-old. So, it's just like, I mean, he's in a catch 22. Like he can't say fuck you and go home. He could. Just
Oh, that's
and
terrible,
leave me here. And he'd be like, and it's like, I mean, it's like, and that's,
which he wouldn't do.
we're all being played.
So,
I feel like there's a certain helplessness, like say, okay, we get the contact. So him and I go home. Because I don't see what else we can do. Like I want to have a conversation. I want to come to the table. I want to fix this for everyone. But
and it's
when no
up
one
to,
gives a fuck, when you're the only person there that seems to give a fuck,
I know.
how are you going to fix something? When it's and here's the deal. See, I think this is the deal. It's in everybody else's interest, not everybody else's, but you know what I mean. There's a large percentage where the suppression, intimidation, and degradation of others benefits them. That's what I feel. There is a benefit to the degradation of the beings on this planet. What it is, I don't quite know. But the maintenance, so right now we're dealing with a situation where the maintenance of a dysfunctional system that is poisoning, literally,
Yeah.
is somehow beneficial to a group on and off planet, Terran and not Terran. There is something there. Because remember, this has been going on for a long time.
Long time.
And it seems like it's probably a good idea. Now that we've removed the nefarious groups that were a threat to others, now that they've been removed, is there not something beneficial to maintaining a slave race on this planet? I think there is. And I'm not saying all ETs. I mean, there's individual regular ETs that would be horrified by that. But I think there's a large number of advanced ETs that are happy with it. They like the commercial aspect.
What would they get?
They're getting something. They've been getting something for a long time.
Just like
We've allowed this to happen on this planet for a long time. So somebody's getting something.
there's a mimic that feeds off of all of the prayer from Christians. It's not God, it's a mimic.
Yeah. Yeah.
What is that? Like, I feel like something like that is what's running us right now. Like, what
I
is
think
it?
it's just people that don't give a fuck. I just think it's like I don't even think it's that advanced. I think it's just
No, it's not. It doesn't feel that advanced.
no, it's just like well, I was just watching a video today of this lady. She worked for a health insurance company and she was a physician and she would be the one she was handling some of the claims and she denied stuff that got people killed. And her salary quadrupled. It went from into the six figures.
Just like that guy that got killed for
She knew
doing this.
what she was doing. She knew people were going to die. She was testifying. So I'm not making this up. This is testifying. And she knew exactly. She killed people to make money. And I think we're dealing with the same thing where there's a lot of beings, and I know it may shock some people, but this is reality.
Yeah,
There's
it's
a lot
reality.
of beings that don't think anything of anybody else other than their own well-being. And I think that's what you're seeing.
That's service to self, yeah.
It's everywhere. And all these beings upstairs that say they're not service to self, they're service to self. Not everyone. Like say, my husband's not service to self. Frank
Right,
Chu
no,
is not service to self. Semyasi is not service to Val
right.
Thor is not service to self. But it's a It's a weird thing. My mind doesn't process that kind of thinking. But honestly, I think if you went up to your average being and gave them something really nice, but they had to do something real, or not that they had to do something. So then you're not asking them to do something physically, kill somebody or something.
Right.
They're just standing by and allowing.
Right. So they don't think it's the blood's on their hands, but it is.
But it isn't. Because there's
But
no, what's the repercussions? Nothing.
that's true.
Repercussion is you having tons of perks. The only thing is that you have to live with yourself, and you know what? Most people don't give a shit.
No, they don't.
Like, how do you sleep at night? They don't have a problem. Not a problem. And it's as simple as I had a friend of mine, she worked for a book company as a secretary, and she had to write the rejection letters. And she had to quit because she's like, I can't do this. So there's people who have a morality and something deep, it's a deep thing inside your beingness. Because you see it all the time. There are people who can't stand that. I
No,
can't stand
but
rejection.
they're not human. Those are not humans. They don't have a soul.
They're everywhere. They don't give. I think well that goes back to the philosophy. They're like, well, we can't. You can't save everybody, and you know those people.
Yeah,
They say it in their own mind, and they believe it, and because it makes life easier for them.
I was raised by people like that. I know.
People. So I don't see how we're with that kind of a philosophy, which is everywhere. It is what it is. I
It's
don't.
it's there's a lot of non-humans in charge of big tech right now. I'm not even saying they're ET. They're not human. They're not there's a lot of non-humans. I don't know what to call them, but some are AI, some are
Yeah,
um empty and run by tech, but they're not people because when you've shut your heart off like that, you're not human. You don't have that same soul anymore. You kill your spark. You're not human anymore. So I don't even consider those humans human.
well, the whole structure has set that up where you've got the majority of the population living hand to mouth in survival mode. So when you're in survival mode, you're in survival mode. So that's on purpose.
Oh yeah, it's on purpose.
Because that's how you can strip somebody of the morale. You're
Yeah.
surrounded by everywhere around you
And
is
that's what they do through blackmail.
yeah. So and the individuals aren't willing to shift it. I mean, you could shift it here on the planet itself, but everyone lives in fear. So I mean, I'm doing it with I have another fellow who's going to come on the show. We're all trying to do it just within our small place.
And
Um,
it's gonna take that. We have all of us envoys have worked, have been trained, we've all had billions of dollars spent to train us to do powerful things, horrible things. Coming together right now, let's just get each other free. Let's help each other get the tech off, get our minds straight,
that's all we
because
can
the
I
more that it's
absolutely.
all we can do right now. Like I'm here. I'll stay up for a week at a time just trying to figure out. I'm one of those people. I'm trying to figure out all night long, all day long. Okay, how can we do this? How can we do this? How can we get this done? How can we get this done? And I know my team upstairs that I'm in contact with is the same, and that's all I'm going to focus on. I know that all those people that live on this planet that are suffering, living hand to mouth, want something better. And I know that they don't believe that or even know that they can fight anymore. And I'm willing to do that for them.
Yeah.
Um, or do something like I'm sitting here trying to figure out how to use a crystal and attach it to the moon thing and zap like I'm trying to figure it out.
It's a lot of
So
what we're
I'm
yeah.
not even gonna worry about the mimic motherfucker. I'm not gonna worry about the elite. I'm just gonna do this.
Yeah.
And I really hope that like if anybody has any information on how to close portals, let's all share what we know
That's it.
because I know a lot I know a lot of ways to get someone free and to be able to live in this planet and be okay. Let's share our ideas, them
Yeah.
those philosophies.
Well, use the tools you
We've
have.
got to do this ourselves as sovereign humans.
Yeah.
That's what the all the federations and all of the councils always say that, well, when they stand up, well, guess what? We're doing that now.
But
So I
you can't, yeah. I
expect
mean, there's
things to
those
change.
of us who can't stand up are standing up. But to say that to somebody when you've got everything laid out at your feet and everything's perfect for you, you're an asshole. I don't even listen to them. Anybody who says that's an asshole. So, and I hope they're listening because I've already told them that many times. So if you can look at it, I mean, I don't believe in that shit. But I mean, if you're in the position right now, if you're in the legal system, if you're in the medical system, if you're in this whatever, use your position where you are. That's what he always says too. Wherever you are now, use your position.
Use what you know.
Fight.
Fight.
Medical system, fight. But you have to make a decision where I'm going to do the right thing versus pad my bank account. And that's where you run into trouble.
Yeah.
And as long as if the anywhere you go in the world, really, on any planet, but as long as you have beings that are more interested in service to self, you are never going to see anything different. You got to
Yeah.
twist the whole thing around where service to self is rewarded and that there's a sense of sustainability in that sort of system. But you have to have people that are the that have a higher sense of purpose, that have a higher moral
Duty. Yeah.
of these, and they're not afraid. They don't live on fear. Because I
Well,
think you'll find
you don't
ultimately that
you don't live on fear.
I don't give a fuck. Yeah, once you start,
I don't live in fear.
but it's greed, really. There's that inner greed. Is that inner, hoarding your nuts concept that people have to stop doing.
Yeah.
Well, I saw the lady,
Especially,
who killed me.
especially,
I was like,
especially when what you are holding is information that is going to help somebody else not suffer, and you're waiting for to get paid for it, you know? That's not right. That really
well,
gets
I mean,
me.
and there's a lot of people that are doing this. They're coming forward now. You got Sal Pais, he's on at 4 o'clock. He was on Ashton's show at 4. So Sal, awesome. We got Dave Rossi at 5 o'clock. He's got a meeting coming up, which I'm going to miss half of because I have to go to the horses. But I mean, there's lots of people who are. I know my friends are playing around with the tech themselves. They're doing it themselves, So
Yeah, there's nobody that I depend on to give me information. I'm doing this myself. Like I go up with Clark and he knows to cover my eyes sometimes because if I figure anything out, I'm down here and I'm going to tell everybody. But but that's what we have to be now. That old way is just over. It's just done. We need to be there for each other. The ones that want out, the ones that want to heal, the ones that want
I want
change.
out because I don't work for liars. When I do a job, I expect it.
Yeah, like don't embarrass me.
Well, they can't embarrass me. I mean, I'm just it's all if you lie to me and do that to me, I know who you are. You're just revealing who you are to me. So the only beings I care about are animals. And they don't lie to me and they don't treat me like a second class. I have no
No.
worries about that. So to me, any humanoid or higher, whatever you want to call it, they think they're higher. They're not. Animals are higher than all beings.
Oh, yeah,
So
they are.
absolutely. So, I mean, I don't care how tall you are or how many, wherever you are, or how many densities you are. I don't give a fuck. I don't care about it. You're not nothing to me if you don't have compassion. So and I refuse. I feel like this whole thing was one big disappointment. And I think that so many envoys feel that way because it's like we came in here and other ETs, not just the envoys, but the other ETs that joined us and joined these groups. There are some that just join for adventure, but the ones who would join for a purpose, I think they're pretty pissed off. They're like, this is bullshit. Like, wow. This is
Because yeah,
it's
like
a
even
lesson, but there's a lesson to be learned ultimately in all these things. Like you can't trust anybody. And that's a sad lesson to learn.
it's a sad lesson, yeah.
But then you can say, well, now that you know that there's a problem, you then create a solution. So if this organization or these organizations are not trustworthy and are not out to assist as they claim to do, because the proof is in the pudding, right? And the proof
Right.
of the pudding is in the eating, as they say, right? I don't want words. I don't want philosophy. I want it. I want tangible action.
I want to see it and feel it, yeah.
I mean, you have people. There's so many people who died, you know, with this liberation in mind, and that think something was going to happen, that was going to be tangible and real, and now it's yeah. I think what we're doing is the way forward is to be like, I don't do business with liars, basically.
I
And,
agree.
you know, it's and your husband has found that out, and my husband found that out, and and Sembiasi and I think Val was disappointed. Um,
Yes. Yes.
the people who may not, I gotta run. Actually, I gotta go to the barn, but
Okay.
there you go. I'm just gonna show people. Here it is. Share. In case this is Val. This picture. Here it is. This is not an AI. This is an actual. This is a photograph.
Oh yeah, that's him.
Oh yeah, that's him. So for people finally to see a stupid picture, person who wasn't, these freaking AI. I'm so sick and tired of that.
Yeah.
Tired of having to use AI because it's such a stupid ass thing. Everybody's websites are full of these AI images, and they're not realistic. They're AI. And it's just anyway. This is an
So
actual
now that you're showing his picture really quick,
right.
if you even go and read about his time on Earth, he had a really hard time being here with all of the frequencies and stuff.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, he figured out a way to expand like a bubble around your head.
saying that. Yeah.
Yeah, and to keep it. And a few nights ago, I asked for help and he showed me just for a split second, and he's so sweet because he takes your hand so politely and
Yes, he
gently when he's
does.
explaining things to you. He's just like he just so polite,
He is. He
but
is. Yeah.
it helps. It helps keep the frequencies out that are used to control us and that control the
Will
weather. Most of
Will
them.
uses the same thing. He told Linda
Oh,
about
really?
that. Was a year ago anyway, because we asked him. Yeah,
Very
yeah.
cool.
And so
Yeah,
now,
there's so much information that we all have that we can share with each other, like what I'm learning from my clients, what you're learning from your clients. We've got so much information. Let's set up a time we can meet with Anita and her group and do like a round table. We all have so much information on how to avoid targeting, how to feel better. Let's do this. Let's have a round table.
absolutely, yeah, yeah. We're also going to plan a Zoom meeting for people too, as well. Some folks who have time, and I still have to set up my Patreon so we can have regular meetings, actually, where
Yeah.
people not on a chat, like on a live
So we
YouTube,
can actually really talk.
where people can actually talk. So yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, farming calls. I have to
Yeah. Thank you for having me on for
feed the horses. I gotta feed them.
those horses are so cute.
So it looks like we'll be having you on a lot more, and as things progress, and like I said, just keep. There's nothing else you can do, but just keep on going, moving forward. And with some changes that are happening, hopefully that it looks more positive. I would say it looks a lot more positive.
Yeah, just pay attention if you're getting zapped pay attention to how your mind is at night and in the morning if it's getting a little bit better. But
Yeah,
again, if there's any information on targeting that you need help with, write Andrea or write it under the comments or email her or email me.
yeah.
Um, and thank you for having me on.
Oh, we've been waiting. We can't wait to hear from you every. I just this channel is for everybody to come on. I don't gatekeep. So yeah, whoever wants to come on, just send me. Like I said, they send me an
Yeah,
email. We'll bring you
because it's
on.
up to us. We can trust us to get this done.
That's all you can do.
Yeah, and so let's do it.
Exactly. Exactly. All right. Well, everyone have a wonderful evening, and Erica have a beautiful evening as well. And we'll looking forward to hear from everybody. Right. All right. We'll see you guys.
Mm.
Once I fudge, as always, putzing around.